Hello everyone, welcome back to the CodeSandbox YouTube channel. My name is Adewale Abati, developer advocate at CodeSandbox. And today I have with me Roman.
Hi, I'm Roman, Director of Engineering here at CodeSandbox, working with the whole engineering team. And yeah, today we're going to talk a little bit about what has changed in the last month and all the cool new
Yes.
updates we shipped.
Yeah. I believe you have a lot of interesting updates for us today. And our plan is to share what these updates mean to not just us, but like everyone in the community as well. The amazing features that we brought to you all from CodeSandbox. So why not get right into it?
Right. Cool. So yeah, this is our changelog page. If you have never seen it, we tweet it out quite often, but here you can easily stay up to date on everything that happens on CodeSandbox. And we do kind of, I would say, bi-weekly, we release updates with changelogs of everything that has shipped over the last couple of days and weeks. And for September, we're going to highlight the last two updates, which was the one in week 37. And then we have week 39 we can look at in more detail. So one major thing I want to highlight is our first update on sandboxes, because it highlights a little bit the awesome community that we have out there, which is one user really driving home in collaboration with like Medium that we have better sandbox embedding support using Embedly. And here, big shout out to the user in particular. Here's a link to the GitHub issue. That pushed it through on his own, and that was like super exciting to see. Now you have better code sandbox embeds on Medium, which is always great to share code, right?
Awesome. Does Embedly work for any other platforms aside from Medium, or are they like very unique to Medium?
I've actually not used Embedly particularly or so, but like everything that's Embedly supported is now working with CodeSandbox perfectly. So I would say that counts definitely for a lot of those social blogging platforms. I think a lot of them are using Embedly under the hood,
Embedly,
which
yeah.
is quite nice.
Awesome. That makes sense.
Cool. Then yeah, definitely we also always try to work a lot on our documentation. So in this case, a particular highlight is we extended our documentation around the environment in CodeSandbox projects, right? As you know, everything runs on VMs, and we get very often like questions from users, like what are the specs on these VMs? What can they do? What kind of systems are running? What is possible? And we really pushed on kind of extending the documentation on this side. So if you want to get all the details, here's the link right there to get everything that you need to know about these environments where the new projects and are going to run in, which is quite nice.
Nice.
Then, yeah, on the editor side, a few things like we always work on adding more syntax or language support. In this case, we added support for Astro, where you now have proper autocomplete, IntelliSense, linting, all the type definitions that you're looking for. Of course, the same is already available for React, Vue, Angular, all these kind of things, which is really good. And just a new template available for you to start right there to kick off your new Astro project right in CodeSandbox, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think like Ace, can you tell much more about Astro? And I
Yeah, I
think
mean,
there's
I started using Astro like a few weeks ago as well. And I think just having the improved support on CodeSandbox creates like a whole different experience. Because not only do you get more familiar with the syntax, because I mean the code highlighting and everything just points it out for you, but then you're also able to like just move very fast with IntelliSense as well. So I am looking to build more stuff with Astro and share on Twitter as well. But it's very nice to see like the team has also gone ahead to support Astro as much as we support React or Vue or other frameworks like that. So yeah, it's very interesting to see.
yeah. And then like what I definitely want to highlight here is like the more things that come from the community where they say, hey, we want to use CodeSandbox for this and this,
Yeah,
we were able to build our new editor in such a way that it is quite extendable and that we actually can start supporting multiple of these frameworks and libraries in a very meaningful way, right? Besides just like syntax highlighting. So the more our community tells us like, hey, we want to have this and this and this, then it easier is to say to
right,
prioritize it, say, cool, let's add it, right? So
right.
please keep them coming, those updates or these ideas.
Awesome.
Yeah, otherwise or so we definitely worked a lot on the performance and the file explorer. We get more and more bigger projects coming up, right? And one of the main things that we focused on is always like, okay, it should feel like a local environment, like on your own machine, even if it's all happening within our web browser, right? And here's like a bunch of performance improvements we made to actually make this feel even snappier on really large repositories with bigger files and these kind of things, where the team worked really, really hard. And it's just like one line in this update, but there's a lot of hours to go into these, right? Which is definitely something I want to highlight, which is good. Yeah, I guess like then the other part I want to highlight is especially in the GitHub app, that definitely deserves some shout outs. So we see more and more installations of the GitHub app happening, and it really changes a little bit how you interact with CodeSandbox, right? Because suddenly you get like preview links and you can like just open any kind of PR with one click directly in CodeSandbox, which is nice. So currently we're adding and working on adding to PROM support for every preview URL. So you get like this really where the GitHub checks are happening. You get like nice little links and comments and updates. And because of this, you might get like a short request to say, hey, I need to give the GitHub app like new permissions, but it's all done to kind of like really make the whole experience for you on your PRs just smoother and actually overall better, I would say.
I mean, we are currently heading straight into Oktoberfest, so I think this is one particular feature that will just basically change how people contribute, and the maintainers are able to also review pull requests and just move at like blazing fast speed. So yeah, very exciting update.
Absolutely, yeah. Like now you no longer need to just look at static code on your PR. You have like one click and you see the code running in action. That's like just changed the review game for us tremendously.
Awesome.
The other side is also VS Code Insiders is also now properly supported. So if you use VS Code Insiders to get always the latest updates and on living on the bleeding edge of VS Code, you can now open this one from CodeSandbox directly and even through the GitHub app if you like to.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's always happy to build these kind of things. These little delighters, the team is always very excited to ship it and say, oh yeah, users like it. That's always nice.
Definitely.
Then I guess and at one point we could do a whole episode or series on our iOS app, because like I think the tool on its own is like really fantastic. But the highlight in this case for September, which we rolled out, is now you can now properly sign in with your Apple ID. And because we built it on the iOS app to make it kind of smoother for everybody using an iOS device, right? We said, hey, cool, let's add it to the web browser right away as well. So that means you can now log in with your Apple ID on all platforms, basically, which is cool.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's
more
really, I mean,
providers.
That's definitely a great addition. And for anyone who might not be aware, we do have CodeSandbox for iOS, as Roman mentioned, and it is an amazing experience. We have people on Twitter, just in our community, trying to move the entire development environment over to just the iPad, and I think it's going to be a game changer for anyone else to be able to code from literally anywhere. So if you've not seen it, you should definitely check it out and try, building something with it today.
Absolutely second that. Yeah, and the last thing I just threw out there, because it's always like we try to give shout outs for other products that we're building as well, and one of them is Sandpack, which is I'm really blown away by the success that Sandpack had over the last couple like months or so. Picked up by the community tremendously well, and we just added a very cool console support to Sandpack. So now if you embed little code snippets, you can actually have your interactive console where you can print out stuff. And if you're more curious to dive into Sandpack, here's the link there and give it a try. And the console really was this like missing piece for me that just say, okay, cool, now I can actually do everything that I want to, which is awesome.
Now you have it.
Yeah, now you have it. Sure. Cool. Yeah, that was the first update from September.
Yeah.
And the latest one is actually we published it today, which is quite super up to date. The biggest improvement here that I want to give a shout out or highlight here is we worked a lot on the real-time collaboration between like web editor and web editor and the VS Code, which means like this is one of the where we have a lot of users using the web editor very actively, right? And then they switch to another device or so, or are on their laptop, and then they use VS Code editing. And in the past, we sometimes, with a lot of rapid switches, we had the problem of saying like, sometimes applying the wrong updates, right? Where say, hey, you write a piece of code, but then you switch to the other version, and then it wasn't sure to sync which version, and you might have lost the last 2 lines of code that you created. So there we spent really a lot of time on like deep diving into this whole problem and the system, where we had like one of our engineers, Christian, who's also like streaming a lot on our channel, deep diving into the source code of VS Code, unbugging it, debugging it. I think it was 3 days, like completely lost and not reachable by other humans. But he solved it, and he spent a lot of time fixing this and improving that collaboration. So now it's a very, very smooth experience. And we're very, very happy to have shipped it, because we see the adoption from the community about like using all these different kind of ways of interacting with CodeSandbox.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's great.
That is amazing. If you're watching, Christian, good work.
Yeah, definitely shout out to Christian. He has his own fan community out there by now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely a good one. And some other noticeable updates is, and that's probably one of my little favorite delighters from this one, is our DevTools section in the editor. They got a new icon, and it seems like such a trivial little change, but the icon is so much better, and it says, oh, why was it not always there, right? That's the perfect icon. So definitely give it a go.
Awesome.
And yeah, knowingly this is a shorter update on the second part in September, we're aware. But as a little teaser, maybe we'll work on some really, really cool things currently that we just can't publicly share yet. But yeah, the people are busy. It's not that we're not doing more or not enough or so, but like there's very exciting things on the horizon from the engineering team.
I mean, these are exciting updates from the GitHub app over to improved real-time collaboration. And I was just curious. I mean, you did mention the DevTool icon, but like aside from that, do you have like any favorite updates that went out in September?
Probably too many to mention. Like we always like ship little like bug fixes and little performance improvements here and there. Sometimes like there's little things where I say, hey, we made like this animation a little snappier, or we removed some loading performances. Yeah, it's not always like worth it to highlight it in the written changelog, because it might be not noticeable by everyone. But there's like, I think last week or so I counted like how many like linear issues we closed, and I think within 2 weeks we closed like 200 different linear issues with the whole engineering work. And it's all those little things, right? So if I would dump out the whole changelog, probably everybody would read 24 hours like on this one.
Yeah, I think everything boils down to like an improved experience, just to make sure that people are able to use CodeSandbox as easy as possible. I would say my favorite updates would be the GitHub app. I mean, we've had it in development for a while, and also people can already start using it. But just the fact that the potentials of it, especially depending on the size of your project, it can just reduce so many overheads or like bottlenecks that you might have in improving that open source, or basically that collaboration bottleneck. So I am excited to see that we've also made improvements on that end, and we'll definitely love to chat about it with other people from the comment section or like on Twitter, anywhere else. Thank you so much, Roman. This has been a very exciting update session. I do hope our audience also enjoyed as much as I did. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to drop it in the comment section. You can also reach out to us on Twitter, on our Discord channel. I'll add the links to the description below. So any final words, Roman?
Stay updated for the next updates that are coming. Please feel free to subscribe to our updates. And otherwise, we'll keep you posted on Twitter.
All right. Thank you. Take care, everyone.
Bye.